important to understand that Oregon is really at a turning point. Unemployment is at historic lows. We've got one of the fastest job growth rates in the entire country, and more people than ever want to move to Oregon. And unfortunately, with what's happening in California, we're going to expect that trend to continue. My concern is that Oregon is not prepared to reap the rewards. We need to figure out who we want to be over the next 20 years, and whether we're going to tackle the difficult challenges facing Oregon, or whether we're going to delay those difficult conversations for the future. The answer for me is really, really simple. I believe that the time is now, and I think Oregonians agree with that. So our economy gives us the best chance to make significant investments now in our children and families and keep Oregon moving forward. I think if we don't make these investments now, it's going to be incredibly difficult over the next couple of years. So in addition to the 3 issues that our panelists are going to be focusing on, healthcare, climate, and of course education, there are a couple other priorities that I will continue to be focused on as we move into the legislative session. We have to ensure that Oregon families can continue to afford to live in Oregon. And in my budget proposal, I'm proposing that we invest $400 million in affordable housing, rental assistance, and helping people stay in their homes. My focus is, not too much of a surprise to anybody in this room, is on children and families. Oregon Public Schools say they have over 20,000 children that are housing insecure or homeless. We need to end that, and I need your help to make that happen. We're also making a significant investment in tackling the issues around the chronically homeless. The best practice is permanent supportive housing, and so I've invested $50 million to make sure that we can get the chronically homeless off the streets. Permanent supportive housing provides wraparound services co-located with the housing. The other population that I'm going to continue to be focused on are our veterans. They deserve a warm, safe, dry place to call home. On any given night in Oregon, we have roughly 1,300 to 1,500 homeless veterans. Multnomah County's done a great job. The city of Eugene's done a great job. We need to make sure that we have a statewide solution and provide all of our vets a home. We have over $20 million invested, yes. And then as I've traveled around the state, I've talked to Patrick Kreitzer, I've talked to folks at Lamb Weston, talked to folks in Ontario and Astoria. Workforce housing continues to be an issue. That's why I've invested $30 million in rural housing to build on the pilot projects we're doing in places like Burns, in Warm Springs, in Pacific City, in rural communities around the state. This has to be a partnership, and I'm looking for you to provide innovative, creative ways that we can partner to build more workforce housing in communities around the state. Secondly, thank you. I'm going to continue my work to make sure that every single taxpayer dollar is being spent effectively and efficiently. As state CEO, I'm committed to doing this work every single day. My state agency heads are as well. Over the last term, we've saved, with our work with the legislature, nearly $500 million, but there's still more work to be done. We're working hard to make sure that we have auditors in our state agencies to continue to look for efficiencies. The Secretary of State recommended that we add over 13 auditors. We did so in my budget. We're going to continue our work around IT modernization to make sure that we can deliver state services effectively and efficiently. And lastly, I need your help. I need your help around procurement. We spend as a state about $8 billion in purchasing goods and services. You're going to see an audit coming out, and I expect that the audit will reveal that we can save several $100 million by modernizing our procurement practices. We've been working hard, but haven't been as successful as I would like, and so I need your help, and I look forward to partnering with you on this issue. Lastly, all the work we want to do will be difficult if we don't have a democracy that we are proud of. And so I'd love to work with you, the entire business community, on campaign finance reform. I'm sure you're tired of receiving calls from candidates asking for $50,000 and $100,000. I think we can work together to bring Oregon to reasonable campaign finance limits. We also, as we're modernizing our IT systems, yay, okay, I knew I'd get a few rounds of applause on that one. As we're modernizing our IT systems, I think it's critically important we weave in our automatic voter registration into those systems so that we can ensure that every eligible Oregonian has an opportunity to have their voice be heard. We're making great strides, but there's still more work to be done. So I think it's a surprise to anyone in this room that one of my top priorities for the 2019 legislative session is healthcare and making sure we have adequate funding for the Oregon Health Plan. Lisa and Providence have been really strong partners as we tackle our goals of achieving funding for the Oregon Health Plan for the 2019 session. There are a couple of issues I'm focused on, making sure that we broaden the funding base, making sure that we come up with a funding plan that lasts for more than 2 years so that we're not back at the table in 12 months. And I'm very committed to getting this done early in the session, and I'd love your help in doing that. But Lisa, I want to hear from you. What do you see as the role of the business community in making sure that every single Oregonian has access to health?